I know how to do this. I've streamed before. Once. I know how to do this. Okay. Let's look at the replays. I can look at my own profile for this one. Never get the sense that I'm going easy, holding back, or not playing against character. I feel like it's disingenuous to not try your best, right? Okay. Play like a dummy. Sometimes. I think one of the things... Well, so we just played those matches, but I would like to do the replay review thing. So when you watch a replay, you want to watch it just like on fast forward, and you want to have like a neutral perspective, because I just played that match and I could make comments, but it would be from my perspective, right? And one of the reasons that watching a replay from your perspective, the English language is my native tongue. One of the reasons watching a replay from your own perspective, or like only from the enemy perspective or something like that, can be a little bit, it can make it trickier to find things, because if you're thinking about like what you want to do or what one person wants to do, it disregards what the other person is doing in the interaction. That's what I'm saying. So even though we just played that match and I think I could make comments on it, I still want to watch it over just to try to be more removed from the situation. Yeah, I think that's punishable. Oh, this is not on 2x. How do you do this? There you go. Okay, V trigger. Okay. Hadouken. A lot of fireball. I noticed a lot of fireball. Okay. I noticed a lot of red fireball in general. Oops. Okay. Some input errors. Okay. Koshaku. Red fireball. Fierce red fireball. Okay. Alright. Let's set up the replay review. So we have this is, I'm just gonna abbreviate my name because it's fucking long and obnoxious. Picked up Kage a week and a half ago. Yeah, when you learn a new character, it's so hard to switch characters, because when you switch characters you end up doing shit that you did on the other character. So like, for example, if you played Guile, you might find yourself charging, or like you might find yourself doing like if I go from Ken to Guile, I'll do like crouch short, stand short on Guile, which like, that's not the one I want to do, you know, like. All right, what's today's date? This fucking, today is Thursday the 9th, so it's 070920. 070920, and then this is Ken, Ken versus Kage. Okay. Alright, so general notes. This general section, I just want to list patterns, right? That's why I'm watching on 2x. I just want to list things I see. So I notice a lot of fireball. Whether this is like a critique or just things you notice, I think in the general section is like irrelevant. You just want to notice patterns. So I notice a lot of fireball. A lot of red fireball. Why is it formatting this way? I'll never understand formatting in Word. Red fireball. Red fireball. Also, I do want to watch the replays 2x, but one thing I did notice was jump after getting touched by fireball. Bum, 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 bum. Some execution error too. I accidentally wrote sexecution error. Nervous? Bro, let me tell you something. Sometimes I'll play online, right? I'll play online and I'll see somebody I know, right? I'm like, oh, I know of that person. And then I get it in my head like, oh man, they're gonna judge me for the way I play, dude. And then they're gonna tell their friends about it. And then I'm like, I get it in my gut. Fucking, I think everybody gets nervous. I think it's totally, completely natural to get, cause it's competitive, right? Even if you're like in your underwear by yourself, you know what I mean? Playing online with like an alternate name that no one would never identify as you. Like, I think being nervous is like, I don't think that ever goes away either. You know, I definitely know like most people say it doesn't go away, you just get used to it. Yeah, I have the first to threes for points. The first to three for channel points, but you don't really need like, you don't need the channel points to really play a first three. That's just to remind people that that's like a thing that can happen. So if you ever want to play a first to three, you know, just hit me up. Medium kick, I know this. Oh, shaka. V trigger. Lots of raw activate. Let's load that down. Lots of raw activate. Lot of Kage raw VT.
Round 2.
Okay, 9-second jump. I know how to work these controls. Okay. Execution. Fast forward again. We're 99-second jump. Ooh, anti-airs. Sweeping. Target combos. Cross-ups. More target combos. Reversal. So, there's a matchup. Some matchup specific things. So notice matchup knowledge versus Ken as Kage. Okay, and then there's one more. View the replay. Ken is over zone. Ken players don't use fireball. Ken players don't use fireball. The only, I'll be real. All right, this is about to sound preposterous as fuck, right? You're not about to believe me. You're not about to believe me. The only Ken players who throw fireballs are Kenpy and me, and I fucking suck. So there's literally basically only one Ken player who ever uses fireball, and that's Kenpy. Like, Ken players don't use fireball. It's good though. Fireball is like my favorite thing to use. Oh, teleport. punish. Sweeping. Okay. Can please smooth. Agree. Heavy agree.
Round 2.
Fireball, I think, is really important to Ken's kit because it covers distances where he's kind of ass. Also, I think the chip damage from Fireball is really significant because Ken has Oki off of everything. Jumps. I notice jumps. Jumps and VT to approach on offense from Kage. Alright. So, general thing to notice, a lot of red Fireball, but not the other ones. Some execution errors with Kage. Sometimes you would get jump short. Raw V-trigger. Some matchup stuff. And jumps and V-trigger to approach. That is true. That red Fireball is decent for going through far away, but in a Fireball war, you don't always necessarily need to break through their Fireball or have the clash be on their side. There's other things you can do that, I mean, in a good situation, you do want the Fireball to go closer to them, but you don't need to have it, right? Like neutral jump is good. You can just cancel the Fireball and get meter. Whenever you clash with a Fireball, you still get meter for it. That's one thing to consider. Kage's regular Fireball will negate, you know. Okay. Shakunetsu. Okay. Jump. This here, right? So this is good, right? If I'm throwing tons of fireballs, doing a red Fireball before mine is definitely good because you can either punish me or you can get me in this shitty situation. Right here, you're plus double digits. You have the further away your Fireball touches the opponent, the more advantageous you are. So if you go through, you usually want to act on like whatever your game plan is, right? So if you think like, okay, I want to be close, what situation do I want, right? Do I want to be close? Do I want to be middle distance, far away? Am I looking for a specific button to touch them with, right? This is a time when you can, so like right here, you advance, right? This is good. Like this is something that you want to, this is a reasonable way to take advantage of that. But then you just give it up again, right? I say this to literally everyone, and I think it's really true, is the space behind your character is more important than your life bar. The only time your life bar is more important is if you're going to die from getting touched. Like, the space behind you is so critically important. And a lot of people will just wiggle back and forth for not really a lot of reason. If you do not ever want to try to walk backwards unless you specifically are doing it for something like, oh, I want to be outside of the range of this normal, or oh, I want more space to use my Fireball or something like that. So right here, you do a really good job of taking advantage of the red Fireball, right? But then you give the advantage up by walking backwards. Okay. The red Fireball is really strong, but only from really far away. At the distance that I'm like right here, at this distance, it's really hard to use Shakunets because it takes so long to start up. At distances, I would look for maybe to use regular Fireball just to clash it. It's kind of hard for Ken to anti-air right here. You could neutral jump this. Or you could even try to like preemptively counter poke it with like maybe a forward fierce. If your forward fierce doesn't touch Ken, it's not the end of the world if you can discourage him from throwing, right? Same thing with like Ryu or Akuma. You throw it out, and if they throw the Fireball, it'll clip them. and that could make them hesitant to not use the fireball anymore. And if they stop using the fireball, that's a huge advantage for you, right? Okay. Hadouken. Sweep. I notice a lot of these sweeps. Right? This is maybe to activate? Let's look. Maybe. Fireball. Shotgunettes. Raw activation. Hadouken. Another raw V trigger. Really feeling how stubby Kage is. You want something that reaches, right? Kage has good movement, though. Kage has good movement, so in a lot of situations you can move, right? You don't necessarily need to hit them. He has tricky air movement too. Okay, this is a good attempt. This is a good recognition. Like, so even though you're slightly out of range, or we're both slightly too far away, this was a good attempt. Like, recognizing that the opponent is maybe close enough for this is good. Yeah, I would say if you do the negate, it's better because I don't get the chip damage, and you don't have the chance of getting hit out of the red fireball. Is this minus? Yeah, this is minus 12. This is very, very unsafe. I think it's probably hit confirmable, but I let a lot of this get away. Get away with a lot of this. Hey. Oh, execution error right there. Okay, fireball. Pokemon it out. See, I stopped throwing fireballs here because in the first round, you had used your activation raw, and you're using the mobility granted to you by the V trigger move. So I stopped throwing fireballs because I suspect you're gonna use this not specifically to go around fireball, but to get in. Let's see. Was this a reaction? Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty decent. But that's why I stopped throwing these fireballs here. I suspected that you would do this just to get close. And I went back to fireballs, which was a mistake. Okay, nice. Taking advantage of the corner. Walking back though. So like, all right, so you have me in the corner right here, right? If I jump at this distance, if I jump, you can anti-air me. If I try to do a tricky jump like a hurricane kick or like a coward copter, or you know, I try like some weird jump arc, you can still anti-air me with crosscut, right? Right here, Kage is in the most empowering position in the game. This is super good, right? But I offer no threat. I just stand there, and you let me out of the corner by walking away, right? So now you're coming back, but why did you? So if you want to approach, right? If you want to approach, why would you retreat, right? Super solid at holding the corner. Is you trying to play safe? Yeah, that's the thing. At this distance, you are safe, right? Each character has a distance they're really good at in the corner. At this distance, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe where you were sitting is like the prime distance, right? Maybe a smidge backwards, but right there at that distance, I'm caged, right? But you start walking backwards, which lets me out of the cage. So when you walk backwards, I'm throwing my fireball to push you away so I can try to move. So you retreat before you attack, which is like contradictory. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to approach. If you're going to retreat. This happens a lot. Like even I do this. Everybody does this. I don't know exactly why, but this is like a thing, and it's like very important to not do it. When you have someone in the corner, you want to bolt them down. Like, you need to lock them into the cage because it's literally the best position you can have. Yo, I see you. Thanks for the subscription. I see you, man. I appreciate that. Because even here, if I didn't throw this fireball, that second you walked back, I could have walked forward. And now we're in this awkward position, right? We're in this awkward. If you inch back and I inch forward, it's like, oh, am I gonna go? Am I gonna go? And you're like, oh, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? Should I look for an anti-air? And I'm like, I don't know. Am I gonna jump? Right? Like, you can just avoid all of that scrambly mess. Just like, okay, this is where I'm good in the corner. I'm gonna try to hold the guy here. And a lot of people, when you have them in the corner, they're just fidgeting under your thumb. Like, you're just smushing them, and the chance that I'll take some huge risk like jump is like probably really high. Okay, here's a red fireball again. I would like to see some regular fireball. Like, even if it just whiffs, you know? Because if I throw fireball, you can negate it. Okay, got hit. The jump. This is just unfortunate. So, you choose to jump, right? And I am throwing a lot of double fireball, so you're like, okay, I double fireball, let me jump. You just choose it. This slows you down. So, right here, you probably want to jump with just roundhouse or fierce. The dive kick is to bait anti-air normals and be evasive versus certain types of uppercuts. This is more of like a bait them out to do something specific, which will get punished by dive kick. If you go with dive kick as your first jump in, you're just making your jumps really slow. So the jump itself was good, but the button on the end of the jump was just unfortunately not gonna work. Another thing I'd like to point out is that when you do dive kick, you want to hit them on their toes. You want to try to dive kick at their toes. So like right here is like promising spot, but it misses. Ooh, risky. Okay. So let's open up the notes.
Can win.
Game 1, round 1. Actually, let me just decent. Able, semi-decent. Actually, let me watch round 1 again. Let's go back.
Round 1.
Fast forward it.
Fight.
Okay. 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 You didn't hang yourself. That's what I wanted to say. I was thinking something about approach options.
Round 2. Fight.
Kage didn't hang himself. Lack of fireball negate. And variety of projectile. Okay. So the first round, I'd say you wanted. It was very clear, like you want to be close, right? You want me in a corner. You want to attack. So you didn't hang yourself. You didn't do dash, 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 jump, 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 right? You approached behind decent options, right? The idea was there, right? Like you're approaching behind the fierce. You have good priority. It's forward advancing. You're walking forward and blocking, right? Or you're attempting to walk forward and block. You're not just like throwing everything at the wall, which is good because that is going to let you more carefully choose what kind of stratagem you're going to try to employ, right? When you're just going crazy, it's especially as like a beginning player or a lower level or a low level player, even an intermediate player, if you're just throwing stuff at the wall, it's going to be really hard for you to keep track of like what is even going on and what was working. So you might have one round that goes really well, but then like the next 2 rounds you might not know how to replicate it because you're just going. So the way you took your time, I think, is a very good foundation, right? And then like the weakness in this round is fireball negation. I think this is gonna come up a lot, right? Is versus the fireball, there's a lot you can do that you're not doing. Okay. Jump dive kicks. Jump dive kicks are right. Jump dive again. Not too wild. Choosing to jump more and using suboptimal. Jump in. Fireball negation. Dealing with fireballs. Okay. So let's go to game 2. Round 1, round 2. No, this was round 3. Touch on the buffering without getting DPs. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. Exit replay. Okay. So trying to remember the second game. Watch this. Turn on the inputs. Always turn on the inputs. It lets you know what people were trying to do. Some execution error right there. Here, what is this? Roundhouse? Okay, so one of the things that I'm not completely sure if this is what is going on, but one of the things that's like Street Fighter V specific that the game kind of baits people into doing is over relying on crush counter attacks, right? So it seems like you're going for a lot of forward fierce and and here you go for just a straight up stand roundhouse, right? This is like a decent attempt to counter poke me out of a fireball or counter poke me out of Ken's standing medium punch or medium kick. Yo, what's up, Demon? I see you, man. What's good? Yo, it's Demon EX's birthday, bro. Happy birthday, bro. So not like a bad idea, but you want to look into like what your other normals can do, right? I would say math lessons. I would say look into using other normals. So I'm just going to list that down on round 1 here as a not using many normal attacks, sticking to the same attacks. Now I will say using the same pokes, it's not bad. Like, don't think of it that like, oh, I use this button 5 times in a row. Don't think about it that way, right? But you want to think about what tool you want to expand your toolkit, right? Because right now you're using a limited set of tools, right? And they're just not working in this current situation. Okay, jump. Oh, missed the pressure. Is it this? This could have been maybe a stomp. Maybe just an accidental jump off the stomp. You try down, and then you try Ryuso calc, or maybe a throw. Here, just hit the jump button. I would say, all right. So you get in this situation, right? You want to practice in training mode what a good sequence is for you, right? So like, okay, you jump in, you get the jump in. When you do this, like when you hit that jump in button, you want to kind of have an idea of like, okay, what am I going to do next? Am I going to go for a mix-up? Am I going to try to use a certain type of pressure? Am I going to do a block string, right? And all this is going to depend on what you want to do. Do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be defensive? Do you want to keep me close? Do you want to push me far away? And what your character can do, right? So like with Kage, you might have access to a certain type of mix-up that other characters don't have. Or you might be able to do, you know, a certain thing like Kage can continue block strings with heavy axe kick. Kind of like almost a little bit like M. Bison can, where he gets closer and like the block string keeps going. So you just want to think like, what situation do I want to be in? And go into training mode. And you want to practice this. Like set the dummy to block. And then just jump in and try different sequences. Like try jump in, throw. So you get the timing like, okay, if I jump in, I need to wait this long before I can throw them. Or try jump in, down medium punch, or jump in, jab, throw, right? Just try a bunch of different stuff and find out like, oh, this is what I like. This is what I want to go for here. Because this happens a couple times where you get a good situation, but there's not really a strong follow-up. Okay. Hadouken. This is a frame trap from Ken. This is like kind of annoying to deal with. At certain distances, when you fight against Ken, he can throw his fireball and follow it with the step kick, right? So if you try to move, the step kick will clip you. This is punishable on block, though. I'm not exactly 100% sure what Kage can get to punish it, but ideally Ken wants to hit it on the tip, which makes it hard to punish. If you had EX and you saw this coming, you could definitely interrupt it or something like that. And if I did it too close, you could definitely do a punish. This is -7 on block. Good players win to be aggressive. I agree, because you got to know, like, a lot of being aggressive is a lot of getting away with something that's not. Well, a lot of playing the game in general is a lot of like, I challenge you to deal with this, right? Like I challenge your reaction, or I challenge, like on paper, a lot of stuff doesn't work. But if you get enough experience and you can read the player, you know when to go in, when to stay back, right? Okay. Okay, not bad. One too many dashes, though. Following behind the red fireball is good, right? You have opportunity to follow behind it. But just one too many dashes. You're still mad plus, but you dash into my fireball. Okay, Jumperooski. Combination. Not bad. Dash, dash. I don't know what the Oki is here. But I would be cautious about dashing too much. Okay, red fireball. Sweep. So it's like, alright, I want to touch him and I don't want him to be close to me. I see him coming in. Risky sweep. No, okay, so I give this up. Right? This is another thing I think would help out new players is you don't need to maximize every single situation always ever. Like, I think a lot of people, you're like, hey, well, how did I lose this or whatever, and they'll point out like 10 billion different things, and you'll watch your own replays, and you'll be like, oh, I messed this up, this up, this up. You only need to get critical things. So you can definitely choose to just not fuck with shit, right? Like, it's like, okay, he whiffed sweep. Is this part of my game plan? Is whiff punishing this sweep part of my game plan? Not really. I'm doing super good by using fireball right here. I'm doing fine. I'm not gonna fuck with that, because what happens if he does whiff sweep EXDP or some shit, right? So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to what I had planned for, what is working, what I'm choosing, right? Now, there's definitely a lot of situations where you're like, oh, I can react to that. Give me that. And you scoop it up, but you don't always need to do that. So like, when you're trying to practice and like, okay, I want to practice anti-airs, or I want to practice this combo or this specific situation, I wouldn't worry about just getting everything, right? You can definitely just let some stuff go. A really good player to watch is if you watch Momochi play any fighting game, he just lets stuff go. He only picks what he wants to do, and it's like super good. And he's so crispy and clean. It's like that's one of the main reasons like Momochi is so crisp, is that he really only chooses his spots. He chooses the hill he wants to die on, you know. So sometimes it's okay to let stuff go. Okay, here's a combo. He's killed. Oh, Mr. Here again, the corner. Most powerful position in the game. This is so good. I'm in the corner. You have Oki on me. Going for a throw here. I mean, all right. Maybe I'll block, right? Not a bad option. But it's a back throw, right? Back throw, basically, instead of me being in the worst situation in the game, you put yourself closer to the worst situation in the game because now you're cornered. Luck has it, I choose to back up, but this is not a very potent position, right? You gave up the most potent position for the back throw. The corner is like the best spot. You want your opponent in the corner and you want to hold them in there as long as you can. Okay, V skill raw. Or V trigger raw. Alright, let's take some note here. So this is game 2, right? Round 1. Raw VT. I'm just gonna list that down. Suboptimal activation. When you do V trigger in Street Fighter V, it is the most potent thing your character has, right? The activation. When you activate, right? This is one of the best situations you could get. And right here, you give up the opportunity to get the activation sequence, right? Because if you say, for example, I'll just use Ken as an example, right? Because I don't really, honestly, I don't know that much about Kage. But with Ken, if I do Fireball activate, EX Fireball activate, I'm plus 21. I could go for a throw. I can frame trap you with overhead. I can go for a low. I can shimmy. I can do any single one of my buttons I want. And if you V reversal, I can throw you on reaction. Every character has a sequence that's like that. V trigger in this game is bullshit. The red bar of courage is for real. And what makes it super potent is not the abilities the characters get after they activate it, but the sequence they activate it off, right? So what'll happen that like enables V trigger comebacks in this game is somebody activates, their sequence connects, like they have a really potent, like you just can't do shit. You just have to hold it and hope you guess correctly on how to defend either their throw or their low, their high, or whatever they have, right? And then the situation after that is like normal, but better because they're enhanced, right? So right here, raw activate V trigger, I think is strategically not that great because I mean, you're already super duper ultra ahead, right? And so what am I gonna do, right? Well, I have my V bar, and my V trigger activation, just like everyone else's, is kind of bullshit. So maybe you want to hold on to your V bar, and so either I activate and run out, and then you get to activate and just like absolutely demolish me, or I activate, you survive the first activation mix-up, then you could look for a chance to V reversal and push me away, right? So I think this is just a little bit premature expenditure of resource. But I agree here that this is a way to get around fireballs, but I think it's a little bit wasteful because you also have V skill too, you know, and you have your own fireballs to use. You don't necessarily need to even get around my fireball, right? Again, in this situation, my health is really low. You're stocked up. You have more resources than me. You have more EX, and your V trigger is ready. Your health is also really high. So it's not a bad thing to be aggressive. Like you can just be like, oh, I want to hunt for the kill. Perfectly reasonable. But you don't necessarily need to do anything at all. Like right here, because your health is higher than mine, the if the time ticks down, I'm losing, right? So the closer this clock gets to 0, the closer I get to losing the round. So it's up to me to make up this health deficit. So I would say consider abusing that, right? Because now I have to take something risky, which you could potentially interrupt or, you know, poke me out of or something, right? I have to take the risk. You don't really have to do anything. You especially don't have to spend the most important resource just to get close again, right? Again, I'll preface, there's nothing wrong with like going in. Like rushing that shit down is perfectly good tactic, but this is, I think, is a little bit strategically suboptimal because it just wastes the bar. You didn't need it, you know. And plus, this plays into what I was doing, right? Because I want to lame out. You know it. You already know, like, oh, he's just throwing fireball all day, right? So this plays into what I want. Okay. I like how you're not just doing it, though. You're waiting for the fireball. Not a total waste. That's a failure of punish. This move is dangerous. Even though I wasn't punishing it because I didn't know the matchup, this move is super dangerous. I would be careful using this. Okay, we got close. Let's play it back again. Wow! Oh, this is just hard to do, but this was a critical confirm. Like this right here. Oh man, you could have killed me. I was dead. This was my life. Right? But it's hard to confirm single moves. Like it's just like anti-airing or checking dashes and confirming single moves. Like they're just fucking hard, but you have to do them. Nothing fancy about it. Just have to get it. Safe fireball buffer. Yeah, honestly. And so let's just have a hypothetical, right? If you didn't activate raw, right? If you didn't activate raw and you got this medium kick here, you could have activated. It could have made your confirm way easier because you could have just did fireball, buffer, activate. And then during the freeze, during the V trigger freeze, you could have confirmed. That's actually what I do in a second. All right. Oh shit, it's the alarm. I gotta feed the cat. All right. I don't want to rush though. All right, so right here, I throw this fireball, and then I'm just hitting activate. Like this was like a reactive thing. Like, okay, if I activate, I'm plus on block. I get a mix-up that's cheap as fuck. And now, during this whole slow motion, I'm like, oh, it hit him. I'm going to do my combo. All right. And then I do my combo. And now I intentionally choose to back up here, right? This is like a diagnostic thing, but I could have had a fucked up sequence. It's like your V trigger is mad good. Like V bar is mad good. You want to get the activation. That's the most important part of the V bar. EX. Now I will say using EX bar to go through fireballs is not a bad choice in the projectile war, but you want to be cautious when you use it because sometimes you can accidentally waste your EX. That time was good because it blew through my fireball, and you know I wanted to do more fireball because I'm backing away for it, right, to space it out. So that was not a bad time to EX, but I do that all the time. Like I'll just throw EX and I'm like, oh, I wasted it. All right. Sweet poo. So let me yeah, VT. Okay, round 2. A lot of sweep. Jump. Cha. Hadouken. Okay. Scrambly. Well, anti-airs. Anti-airs are just hard, but you have to do them. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, run. Run is punishable as shit. That move is fake. If you ever see that, you can counter hit him out of that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. fireball. Okay. Red fireball here. I would like to see some purple fireball. Those are red fireball attempts. Purple fireball's not bad. Okay, dive kick. That could have been, again, the dive kick. The dive kick is a mix-up option off of your jump. I would say with your jump, try to default to heavy kick and hard punch. Because right here, you could have domed me. Like, man, there's so much damage right here. But the dive kick it's just, it slows you down. And it puts you at a weird spacing. Look how high up you touch this dive kick. And then it pushes me back, right? And then look at this. We're like far apart. You could have did like jump roundhouse, down medium, fierce or something like that, right? You could have even supered me. Practice. Optimal jump in combo. Okay. Good choice to super early. You want to super early because you get the most damage and you have the most chance to get your bar back. The only time you don't want to super early is if you're specifically saving your super to counter something. So let's say, for example, if you were Chun-Li and I was still throwing fireballs, you might want to save your super to go through my fireball as a punish, right? But right here, since you're not saving the super for any super, like anything that's specific, like you're not taking away a tool I have, this is a good time to super because your health lead is mad high. It's with sweeps though. Gotta explore other options to poke. Maybe crouch medium punch, down medium kick. Okay. This is some Ken specific shit. So right here, when Ken does target combo Tatsu, if you back rise, he gets the opportunity to cross you up. If you back rise, this jump will always be a cross up. This is always a cross up after heavy hurricane kick. As Kage, specifically as Kage or characters with invincible anti-air uppercuts, you can always AA this. Ken has quite a few like meaty jumps, but if you're a DP character, they don't work on you. They're actually fake. So right here, you could have uppercut me out of this. And then I do it again. Right here, this is actually unsafe. I believe before you used an EX and it hit me out of it too. Okay. All right. So here, right? Let's talk about mashing. So you're mashing DP, right? If I fuck this up, the DP will hit me. There's no way I'm baiting you right here, right? So mashing DP, not like the super worst decision, but you want to be very careful to do it intentionally, right? Because if you mash DP and I can bait you, like if I was doing a combo with jabs or a combo with like medium punches, I could have just stopped, right? So this is like, you want to think about this. Okay. Yeah, this is when I try to do that jump over again. You interrupt me. Okay, again, an activation, just raw. You want to activate off a block string. That makes the activation super fucked up. Okay. Hadouken. Yeah, I was waiting for that bad boy. I had noticed that you jump after getting hit with a fireball. A lot of people will try to do something immediately after getting hit with a fireball, and it usually gets them into the hot water. I would suggest maybe thinking about that too. Like, okay, I want to be a little bit careful about, like, if I get hit by a fireball, what am I gonna do? All right. Okay, let's watch the last one. Game 3, round 1, round 2. All right, so before we watch this last one, I gotta feed my cat. I gotta go feed Kev. I will be right back. Thanks for hanging out. We'll finish this replay in a second. Gotta go feed Cave. Good friends, I have returned. What is this? What is this? Redirect notice? No thanks. Okay. So, where were we? We were about to watch Game 3. Some sort of creature from the deep, huh? Alright. Oh yeah, Kev update. I fed the cat. He's chilling. He's chilling. I'm experimenting with feeding him different types of style stuff. Cats have like a dietary requirement based on like their weight. You know how much food you want to feed them? And I don't want to free feed him, because then he's just gonna get fat and be unhealthy. So I'm like, today I experimented with big breakfast. Big breakfast. Tomorrow I'm gonna experiment with big dinner. We'll see. We'll see which one he likes better. And if not, we're gonna experiment with lunch.
Round 1. Fight.
Okay. Hadouken. Fireball. There's that roundhouse again. Is this the second game? Am I tripping? I bet that was the second game. It was. Tater tots, macaroni salad. Dude. Macaroni salad. Kevin the cat will actually eat anything.
Fight.
Kevin the cat will actually literally eat anything. I watched him consume a rubber band. I was like, what do you got there? And he was like, meow. I'm like, what is that? He's meow. I'm like, is that a rubber band? Meow. And he just fucking ate it before I could even, you know, dash across the room. Cat ate a rubber band. Okay, this is punishable. Matchup, can matchup knowledge. This is definitely punishable. Okay. Okay. Corner City. Sweep boot. Combo. Yeah, Kev's mad cool. Teleportation. Again, that though. The pressure sequence here. I wish I knew more about Kage so I could offer some specific advice. But right here, after you throw me, you have a chance to apply some pressure. But you choose to do the target combo instead, which gives up the opportunity. And here's this is another missed punish. Yeah, this is just a missed punish. Sword Out Pacifics. Yeah. Some good Kage players to watch. I would watch Taiga. T-E-I-G-A. Taiga. Sekai Taiga. He doesn't really play a lot of Street Fighter anymore, but he used to play Kage. And I would watch Sakanoko. Who else? Daigo plays Kage sometimes. I would watch for those. Daigo just does silly shit though, so be a little bit careful. Daigo just does. He just plays around when he just memes on people when he plays Kage. Tatsu, it took an extra second. Like, wait, oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes if you're not completely like you don't have like the super duper amount of matchup knowledge, it's like is that even punishable? Okay, here's the sweep. Sweep back. Oh, I missed my DP. Nice attempt, but just a little slow. Optimal combos.
Round 2.
Limited attempts to punish the right. Okay. Okay, so here. Okay. Emotional. Sweep. Too much sweep. Okay. Combo. How does this get hit? Okay, so I run up. Is it just a meaty? Okay, yeah, you teched. In the middle of the screen. Oh, wait, I actually talked about this earlier. In the middle of the screen, when most characters throw you, like pretty much the entire cast, they can throw you, do one thing, and then the pressure is over. So to defend against throw in the middle of the screen, you usually do not want to tech, because one of the potential negative consequences of teching is that you get counter hit out of it, and you take a grip of damage for getting caught teching, right? Really, the only time you want to tech a throw to defend against throw is in the corner, or if it's going to kill you, right? You want to either evade or contest in this situation if you're going to choose to try to counter the throw. If you choose to just block, I can throw you, I get to press stand roundhouse, and then that's it. The situation is back. Well, you're actually advantageous, right? We're back to neutral, but you have frame advantage on me because my roundhouse is -4. So the teching in the middle of the screen, generally unadvisable. If you want to avoid throw, I would look for another way to avoid throw. And if you take the throw, like, I know it's a meme, right? But if you take the throw, it's not really, you don't really get into a shitty situation. If anything, it's me giving up my opportunity to continue pressuring you just for a little bit of damage. So right here, you have enough health. I think just being thrown, not the end of the world. I'm definitely heavily advised against teching throws in the middle of the screen. If you're in the corner and they try to throw you, yeah, you can tech. But in the middle of the screen, it's pretty strategically disadvantageous to try to tech, because the reward for successfully teching is garbage compared to the potential consequence of getting clipped for teching, versus the potential consequence of just getting thrown, which is not really all that bad. Sure, you take damage, which is bad, but you don't get into a situation like this. Okay, go for some Oki here. Oh, frame trap. This is just frame trap. Yeah, this is a basic frame trap. Okay. Activation station. Satsu. Again, resource expenditure. You have 3 bars, right? So you could have saved for super here or going for super. Choosing the EX is like not the end of the world, but you want to make sure you kind of have an idea of like, do I want a super? I have 3 bars. How should I spend my V meter? Should I just EX? Should I super? Should I V trigger again? Right? Some things to think about. Ooh, teleportation. Punishable. This is just like a tricky thing. Mostly for combos. There's that dive kick again. That dive kick bit you. It would have been much harder for me to anti-air this if you had just done a normal. You can also air fireball with Kage. So you ever play against Cammy and they do like dive kick and it goes short and you just go sailing into the air when you try to anti-air them? Right? Same deal with Kage. You can actually just fake out a jump. Like you can jump, stall your momentum with air fireball, wait for me to go sailing into the sky, and you get a whole crush counter punish on the ground. Kage has a lot of mobility in the air, actually. He can mix up his jumps pretty well. So I would say try to make your default jump a hard button, and then use the dive kick and the fireball to mix them up. Here's a confirm opportunity. You could have did an uppercut after this, I believe. Just a little bit of missed damage. I'm getting away with murder right there. Just fireballing all day. Not exactly murder, but I'm getting away with it.
Ken wins.
Yeah. It's mostly optimal combos. Choosing decent time to jump, but not right jump. Yeah. Okay, so what do we recommend? I would say, firstly, find a pressure sequence with Kage that can convert into his bread and butter. And practice jump and roundhouse / heavy punch into Kage, no bar, B and B. So this is, recommend this. Consider, and then I would say consider using more regular fireballs to deal with projectiles. So let's go to training mode. Let's look at some ways we can get around Hadouken. It's really hot in this room. This fucking Ken costume. This Ken costume, bro. Kage. I'll choose yellow Kage. Don't need to do it if I'm short on time. This is an expedited process. Trust me. This is the quick version. But I appreciate your consideration. Okay. So fireball, right? This is not bad. Right here. You get bar, you negate this. Even though the fireball is on my side, it's not the end of the world, right? Light shotgunettes is also not bad. If you want a shotgunettes, I would light shotgunettes unless you're gonna do this first. Unless you're gonna beat me to the punch, because this is very slow. So this can get easily punished on reaction. When you see him open up, you can punish. So I would consider doing this a little bit more. You want to be careful with neutral jump. Yeah, a little bit, right? When you want to be careful with neutral jump, because Ken can follow this and uppercut you as you jump. Right? I think I did it once or twice. A couple characters can do this. You want to be careful neutral jumping fireballs. What else? Can he Tatsu these? Kage cannot Tatsu through fireball, right? I don't believe he can. I'm not sure. I doubt he can though. But I would say what I see most Kage players, they do this. Or oops. They'll do regular fireball to negate. If you're close, you can go for this. Now I can whiff punish this move, right? But this will still discourage me a lot from going for fireball. You can also poke out fireball with stand medium kick. I see Kage players do this to me all the time. Another thing is you can stall yourself in the air, right? So you can jump over my fireball, and now I have to guess, right? Well, I don't have to guess, but I have to. It's a lot harder for me to anti-air, because if I try to just AA you, I miss. And if I try to run forward and you just jump, now you're on the other side of me, right? So you want to mix up your air mobility options, right? So you want to mix up between doing this, the jump fireball, the fake out, and the dive kick, right? The dive kick is mostly to bait out normal attacks. So not really super pertinent versus Ken, but like for example, if you're fighting against Chun-Li or someone without an uppercut, you would be using dive kick to make them whiff their jab or whatever, and then you'd be getting the jump in on them. I would try to make this your default jump in. I forget what Kage's B&B is. I think it's, what is it? Is it fierce? I think that's counter hit only. But I would recommend getting a bread and butter combo. Getting a bread and butter combo. So, let's see. Crouch, medium punch, stand, medium punch, M Tatsu, and DP. Seems about right. Seems about right. So I would practice that. So research and find what Kage's optimal B&B is and practice that from a jump in hard kick. Okay. Let me get rid of this. This is just for the template. Actually, let me get rid of these. Okay. And then oh, I should have saved this as. Should have did a save as. Anyway, so I would research, find, practice that in training mode. Then I would set the dummy to Ken and have him use multiple strengths of fireball and practice negating it with regular fireball and LP red fireball. Get familiar with dealing with negating projectiles. And then what else in training mode specifically to practice? Kage is evil Ryu but watered down. And then what else? What else? Now, what are our recommendations? Consider my regular fireballs, pressure sequence. Oh, yeah. Once you master the B&B, consider what possible sequences you have from each, from the plus on block normals, if they are blocked, right? So consider what to do if the B&B does not hit right away. Throw, shimmy, stagger, pressure. Find an offensive sequence you like that goes back into your B&B. Also, find how to frame kill for Oki after the B&B finisher. So what I mean here is find, so I don't know if this is the optimal combo, but let's just pretend for sake of argument, right? So after you do this, after you get comfortable doing this, right, a frame kill can be anything that eats up frames. So for example, what's this on hit? Oops. This is plus 20. So what's his dash? 16, right? So a frame kill is anything. So just say for example, we're at this distance and you know, it's 16, right? So say if you're plus 16, this is a 16 frame kill, right? If you're right here and you're plus 16, this is a 16 frame kill, right? So let's say you want to hit a meaty attack, right? You want to hit a meaty attack, which means you want to hit it after the first active frame. So actually, let's look up some Kage frame data real quick, just to for the sake of making sure everything is all right. So I'm going to use Frame Assistant tool. I highly recommend this on the phone. Super duper useful. The guys who make it are super cool too. So let's look at Kage. All right. So your light punch is 4, right? Your light punch is 4 frames. So if you want a meaty attack, right? Let's just say, so this is what, plus 18 on quick rise. So if I dash is plus 2, right? Which means that I can act for 2 frames. So if I do this and then hit jab, stand jab, right? This will prevent Ken from doing anything that's not invincible, right? Because he's going to wake up into this, right? Actually, this is a little bit not as plus as it needs to be, right? What's this? I don't know what that is. That's plus 17. 7 plus 10 after the dash. All right. So you want to find something that you can get Oki after, right? You just want to find the Oki after this. Like, okay, if I come up, what's my meaty attack? Right? That's what you want. So the frame kill, a frame kill is basically the sequence of things you do to get close to time your normal, right? You could manually time it. You could just go, about now, right? About now, right? But you want to find a sequence that's going to let you do consistent, reliable results, right? Ideally, you want to find something that's as close as set play as possible. Right. So I would find the Oki. Maybe consider the Kage Discord. I know Street Fighter character Discords kind of suck. I would also consider looking at the players. I recommended players. Recommend watching watch Pro Kages. So watch Pro Kage users. Sako, Noko, Daigo, and Tega. Right? Not every character. Yeah, it's hard to find information. It's not that bad for Street Fighter. At least we're not playing like some obscure anime game, right? But I would look for the Oki sequence. And what you want, ideally, is you want this to go back into your B&B. This makes a pretty easy game plan, right? So say you hit this, right? You hit them, boom, 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 boom. You want to dash up, boom, boom. I'm right back in there, right? Like, oh. It's looping, right? You want to find something ideally that's looping. So you want to test out if that's meaty. Let me make Ken reversal jab. We'll just see. I'm just going to have Ken do reversal crouch jab. Oh, I missed the reversal window. Oh my god, are you serious? I'm cursed. Anytime I ever want to demonstrate something, I cannot do it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's say just Ken wakes up mashing jab, right? Oops, I missed it. So is this... I don't know if this is the right combo, but you want to find something like this, right? You see that? I think the slowdown makes it harder, actually. So this, ideally, you want this, right? You see how I counter hit him out of that jab right there? Crouch medium punch, stand hard punch. Yeah, this is probably it. It's probably something like that, right? That's 256. That's pretty good damage. H touch to HDP. Yeah, that's probably it. But do you get Oki? That's the thing. Boom, you do get the Oki, right? Boom. So you're boom, 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 dash, boom, 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 DP again, right? You want to find that. So I guess just dash forward after heavy DP maybe. I'm not sure what his Oki is. Then after you master that right? You find like, okay, this is a sequence I have. This is how I'm gonna get my meaty attack. You want to start thinking about, what do I do if he blocks it, right? So say you dash forward and he blocks this, right? He blocks this. Well, you don't want to do this, right? That's minus, right? You don't want to do this. It's punishable. Punishable, right? Ken has a 3-frame attack. This is punishable on block. So maybe you want to do maybe a throw. Maybe staggered pressure. Maybe you want to try to do this to steal your turn or something like that, right? You want to explore what your options are if it doesn't work, right? Well, do I have a frame trap here? What are my options? So I hit this, it doesn't hit. Okay, I'm right here. What can I do? Well, I could probably back up. I could maybe threaten walk and throw. I could try stagger pressure. I could do some frame traps, right? I could do a frame trap. I could do steal my turn back with this heavy axe kick. I could go for my EX fireball. I could try a low frame trap, right? You just want to get familiar with those options. So ideally you want something like, you want to have the optimal combo, and then the starter for that combo, you want to have a strategy off of it if it doesn't work. So I would say explore that. I don't really have any super ultra specific drills for that, but I would say look for things like that. Stuff down with sock rub. Yeah, basically the same stuff, right? All right, so I'm gonna upload this. I'm gonna save this as to desktop. Replay. NKB with Jasonmozzasticks. Ken v Kage. Replay review. Alright, and then I will upload this to my Discord server.